Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wake Up with the Ninjas for coffee. Kale, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. Doing great. How's everything in Charlotte?
Good, good. We lost power last night, so I had to get everything rebooted. I was actually ahead for once. Got a little bit of extra sleep yesterday from the long weekend, and I woke up and everything I did was down. And then the lights were all flashing on the microwave and refrigerator and everything. So it's like
Didn't
that's
know
like the
what time it was.
second. Yeah, I know. It was crazy. I thought it was really early. Thing was flashing like 4:15 on the thing. I was like, I know it's not that early. So, but yeah.
Nice.
So did you get
I
caught
like.
up on some sleep from the long weekend?
Oh my goodness, I did. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still like waking up my eyes. So. But no. Plus, I like that new music coming in. Yeah. That's
Yeah, a little more mild for the morning, a little more calm to slide into the Ninjava moment.
I dig it. I like it. Right. Um.
Uh,
Oh, we had some good UFC fights over the weekend.
yeah. There was a retirement I saw too, huh?
Yeah. The Korean Zombie.
KZ, yeah.
Good, great fighter. Um, just always been a beast, and I've always enjoyed watching his fights. His comebacks. I feel like a lot of his greatest times in the UFC were like his comeback victories. He's just getting, hit and punch and beat up, and he just doesn't stop coming forward. That's kind of where he got his nickname, and
Yeah.
the dude just doesn't stop. Um, Actually, I pulled up his record here because there's actually some notable fights.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, so
Yeah, sorry, turn that off. All right, so. Boom, boom. Yeah, so I pulled up on Wikipedia here. So, I mean, he started back in 2007, was the first, this probably his professional
okay.
uh,
So
record. So I'm sure he was fighting before that.
2007.
Um, yeah, 2007. And then let's see. So because he started fighting in South Korea. That's where he's from.
Okay, I was looking at the names. I thought that was overseas somewhere.
Yeah, so if you look right here, 2012, he
Oh,
beat Dustin
Poirier.
Poirier. Yeah, he won
Wow.
that fight. Um, with a submission, darts choke. So I mean, that was 11 years ago,
Wow.
11 years ago ish. So I mean, he's got some really notable wins. He did lose to Jose Aldo. That was kind of back in his heyday. Um, he lost to Yair Rodriguez, which he's a beast. He beat Frankie Edgar.
Hmm.
He did lose to Brian Ortega, Dan Iggy, and he did lose to Volkanovski, which he's the champ. So he's absolutely incredible. And then
Yeah.
his last fight here to Max Holloway. So, were you able to watch the fight?
No. So this weekend was a disaster. I didn't even make the UFC pick'ems for Hyde Park. We had I didn't realize they were starting at 5 a.m. I saw the 5 and I thought it was p.m. I just assumed, and I got back from lunch after our testings and trainings with you guys, and I looked and the fights are already over. I think that was at like 4:30, somewhere in there. I couldn't believe I missed
Yeah,
it. So, yeah, I think that was a common theme this week. I think a lot of people missed getting their picks in or got them in, pretty much late. So, we got Maui joining us this morning. Good morning. Boy Dern, good morning. Hope you guys are doing good.
yeah.
So,
Glad
how's
you
your
guys are.
guys' weather over there in JC? We've actually had a ton of rain overnight. It's supposed to
Oh
rain the
yeah.
next 3 days here.
Um, no, it's just been kind of rainy. Nothing bad though. Just a little dreary outside. Not bad. Um, yeah, you guys had some storms over there, didn't you?
Yeah, it was, I really wish I would have got the lawn cut yesterday and I was too tired. I was just wiped out from a long week and it was so hot and I think the heat just wore on me, so I just didn't want to do it yesterday, and then it poured rain, and then I saw the forecast and we're supposed to have 3 more days of it, so I'd have to wait till
Shoot.
Thursday.
Um, Man. So I like pulling up this article caught my eye, and so I like to bring these up just to chat about them. And then let's see. I don't know what ads are gonna pop up, but let's see. Is that up yet? All right. So what would you think on Dana White on a potential return for Brock Lesnar?
Ooh, that's interesting because I've been hearing his name brought up a lot. Um, that guy's a beast.
He is such a.
He
Do you remember? Do
is
you remember his fights?
massive.
Did you watch his fights back in the day in the UFC?
So way back when I was in Johnson City, it's actually I want to say one of the f- I guess the first couple years I'd been going to JC, I went. I think after training, and we went and watched a fight, and Brock was fighting against another guy, and it was a big name actually at the time. I don't know if it was Randy or it was another big guy, and Brock made him look like a baby. There was just
Yes.
such a size difference.
So the main two that stand out to me, and they're actually in this article. He fought Randy Couture, which Randy Couture is just such an amazing fighter, one of my favorites of all time to watch. And then he won the title with that, and then he actually defended it against Frank Mir.
Hmm.
Um, he actually beat the just incredible fighters. I was pulling for the fighters. I was never really a Brock Lesnar fan, and so it was interesting to see him get those wins. Um, that was at UFC 100, and so the here was the article kind of spawned because he fought at UFC 100, and then he fought in 2009, I believe, and then he fought in UFC 200 in 2016, and UFC 300 is coming up,
Hmm.
and so that's kind of they were wondering if
Interesting. A theme there.
yeah. However, uh, as any good article does, Dana White down here says that he does not plan for Brock Lesnar to come back.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. But I thought it was an interesting thought.
Yeah. I had heard
Um,
his name brought up a couple times over the last few weeks, actually. I keep seeing his name and Ronda Rousey's name keeps popping up as coming back to UFC, and
yep.
especially with the recent retirement in that division. So
Yep.
it'd be interesting to see what happens with that.
Um,
Yeah, I remember seeing Lesnar fight, and it was in Johnson City. I think it was the 100th
okay.
UFC. And we
Yep.
went, I don't even know what place we went to. It was a local place there in JC, right up the street from your guys' school.
Okay.
And they had like a ton of pool tables, but the pool
Uh,
tables were covered up with like ping pong boards or plywood or something. And they were using them as tables because there were so many people there. And we were like crammed in there watching that fight. I remember that. But it was,
you
if
know,
I remember correct, it was pretty one sided.
yeah, who else fought that night? Because now I remember that. That was a long time ago, but Holly Holmes knocked out Ronda Rousey that night.
Was that the same night?
I am almost positive because that's where I watched it. Oh, there's some good old cannabis there. But
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
there's yeah, I'm almost positive that was the same night because that's where I watched that fight was
Yeah.
that same night.
Where did you watch that fight? I don't remember if
It
you were with
it was at
with
that place with the pool tables. That's where
were
we
you
saw
with
the fight.
us?
Yeah,
Oh my God, I don't even remember you being there.
I'm almost positive.
It was that little place behind where that Kung Fu school used to be in that little shopping center. And I
Yep,
can't remember the name of it to save my life. Yeah.
I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I distinctly remember because I remember going in and the pool tables were all covered up with the plywood, and I think it was
Yeah,
standing room only by the time we got there.
yeah. Um, yeah. So some other fights on the. Let's see. There was a crazy fight. Let me just pull up one more. So,
Was this the
Ma-
fight of the
uh,
night?
Yeah, actually, I wonder if they actually did get. I thought it should have been fight of the night. It was this fight right here. I'll probably butcher his name, but it's Rinya
Oh,
Nakamura
Nakamura?
and
Yeah.
Fernie Garcia.
Hmm.
Um, that fight was insane. Back and forth submissions and almost knocking each other out. One of the best fights I'd seen in a while, actually. Most entertaining fights. So I hope they got fight of the night. I didn't get to see the entire card, prelims and everything, so I don't know about other fighters, but I know that fight was absolutely killer. So um, that was a good one. Looks like all this. If you bet on the left hand side here, that was a good night for you.
Yeah.
Um, Max won, Anthony Smith won, Giga won, Aaron Blanchfield, Junior Tafa. So
Nice.
uh, yeah, pretty good night of
Boy Dern
fights.
said his first UFC was 120 back in 2010, the Bisbing main event. That was in London.
Oh, Michael Bisping. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a memorable one as well.
My first one was in Buffalo, New York, and it was like the old school rules. I don't even remember what number or if they had numbers back then. I don't remember. It had to be in the 90s.
Yeah,
So I was probably just out of school. It had to be in the 90s.
nice.
I don't I don't remember if they had numbers back then. I just remember it was round robin because it was a long night. I remember jiu-jitsu was kind of just coming onto the scene back then. And I remember falling asleep in one of the fights because I had trained and worked all day, and I went with my brother and some of his friends, and I remember falling asleep during one of the matches. So Tank
So then,
Abbott was there. He didn't fight. He was like a special guest or something. And it was a
that,
Brazilian guy that won. He was around the 180, 180 pound mark, and he ended up winning the whole thing.
so did you actually in person go to it?
It was in person, and that was in Buffalo, New York, before the fights were actually illegal in New York. Because for a while you couldn't watch fights; they couldn't hold them there because it was illegal. So it was before that. It was definitely had to be early '90s because it was kind of right after all the shoot wrestling was really big with Kenny Shamrock and those guys in their
Okay.
heyday. And shoot wrestling or catch wrestling or whatever it was. I think it was called shoot fighting back then. Is the
Yeah.
one that used to be on the was it Valtuda? Some of that.
Valley Tudo.
Yeah, I
Valley
think
Tudo.
so. It was way
Yeah.
back.
So UFC one, where Hoist won, was 1993. So there probably was a number to it. It'd be interesting to go back and see what number
I'll have to
that you
look
went
that
to.
up and see. I'm gonna see if I can find that. That's gonna drive me crazy. I'm thinking it was like 90, had to be between 90 and 94, I would imagine. 94, because it was before I moved.
Yeah. Yeah. November 12th, 1993 was UFC number one, and then it was. Um, so if those guys ran it, it was probably man UFC had to be under 10.
UFC minus oh 02 or something. Let me see. I'm gonna try to pull it up here. If anybody in chat knows, go ahead and post it in there.
um, all right. Well,
1995. Yeah,
95.
it looks like.
Nice. Nice, nice.
UFC 7.
UFC 7. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, Kenny. Well, wait a minute. I don't remember Kenny Shamrock being on that card.
Hmm.
It had to be before this. Yeah, it had to be before this for sure because
Interesting.
I'm gonna have to do some research on that. That's gonna drive me crazy because
Yeah, I'd
these
like to know.
UFC 7 was definitely it looked like they were matched up 2-2 or one
Okay.
and one for the fight, so it was definitely before that.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Nice. Let's go Upland, US. Thanks for jumping in, man. Um, Awesome. All right, what else are we jumping into this morning?
We
Is there
got
any
so football's back. I know they've been doing a lot of preseason, so sporting my Bills today, getting ready for the season here, getting ready for
I got I
fantasy.
got
I got to
I got the
study up
Packers.
actually. I haven't got to watch much yet.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll tell you what, the Jets are really hyped up. Everybody's talking about the Jets. I know Aaron Rodgers is there now, and be interesting to see what they come out with. And I'm sure Miami Dolphins will be up there. Tua's been doing some. Let's see, Tua's been doing some jiu-jitsu actually, training a little bit, and a
Yeah, I think we
little bit
talked
of
about that last week a
judo.
little bit.
I heard he's doing a little judo too, actually. So that's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, I think martial arts is great cross training. I've gotten to work with some professional athletes in their off seasons and use it for core training and coordination. It's martial arts is just great for like the hips and core and
Hmm.
building athleticism. And so I think it's definitely great um, for cross training in their off seasons. So
Yeah, when I had lived in Atlanta and taught there for years, we had a lot of professional athletes that would get their kids into martial arts because they said they wish they would have had it when they, before they played. It would have helped them immensely with just
yeah,
the overall conditioning, the core body strength, and just a lot of the hand movements, for getting around the ends and stuff. So there's a lot of benefits to it for sure.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, so are we
So with the
gonna talk about
football,
some?
yeah, with the
Yeah.
Bills, or well, I'm saying Bills because that's my team, but with the NFL coming back into session here, I know we in the Hyde Park community, we're actually going to be starting our NFL Pick'ems. We'll be doing that every week, so we've got a really awesome community member is going to be putting that together. So we'll have the UFC fights will still be ongoing as normal, but we will be introducing the NFL Pick'em, so we'll have more details coming on that. So make sure you guys keep your eyes on the Discord, and we'll have a link popping up for that probably over the next week here, the next couple days.
And that's just more ways to earn in Upland. So, we have UFC pick'ems, we have Rumbles, we have now the NFL pick'ems, and just other ways to get involved and earn some upicks and have some fun and hang out at the same time. So jump in. The link to the Discord will be in the description below, and so will the link to Upland. So if you have never played Upland, um, jump into our Discord as well. We can help you get started. It can be a lot to get started in that game. So we'd like to help you out, and so the links for those will be below. All right. Well,
Good
cool.
morning, Shambamming. Got Shambamming in the house. Let's go
Oh, sweet,
Upland. You guys are doing
sweet.
well today.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping in, everybody. Let's see. What would be? I think in the chat, what I'd like to know is like what is the most memorable. I mean, it could be a boxing match, kickboxing, boxing, UFC, MMA. Maybe it was like maybe like maybe you're a WWE fan or wrestling fan or something like that. So, well, I'd like to know what is your absolute favorite fight of all time or most memorable fight of all time. It could be a fight in the back of the school parking lot or something like that. Just what your most memorable fighting experience. Let us know what it is in the chat, and um, we'd like to know.
Kale, what is yours? What is your most memorable? I know I've got some.
Um, well, I have to go. I guess the first one that pops in my head is personal. One of my own fights. It was one of my favorite fights. Um, and I'm good friends with him now, so I mean he doesn't mind if I say his name is Logan Neal. And Logan, I had done two fights, and then I had an injury, and so I had about 2 years off, and then I was coming back into fighting, and I was it was like doing my first fight all over again. I was nervous again, and had all the nerves, and we start the fight, and within the first 10 seconds, I just take a straight right to the nose, and I don't remember the next like 60 seconds. I made it. He like kicked my butt for that first round, and uh, the round ends, going to round two, and I was able to catch a submission in round two. Um, it wa- it wasn't my prettiest fight, that's for sure, but it was one of those, like it was one of the toughest fights that I had, um, and, it was and then he was a great dude as well, so we shook shook hands, became friends afterwards, and, he's just a great dude, but, that was one of the most memorable fights, for me. I know that's, like, not somebody else, but, um, yeah, that was one of my favorites, so, do you have one?
Yeah, actually it was the first year I competed at Worlds. I was, pretty confident that year. That was probably in the prime shape of my life, honestly,
Nice.
and, it was out in, Arkansas, and I had taken first place in the first division, and then we got into, there was like a weapons division that I really wasn't into weapons way back then, and there was the sparring division came up, and one of the guys that I competed with in the sparring division, I watched him, competing, and his technique was a little bit lacking, from what I was looking at. And he was a really big guy. This dude was probably 6'6", 6'7", and he was a monster. He had to be pushing, it had to be like close to 300 pounds. This guy was massive. And
Mm.
I was like, this was the first match I drew, so it was a huge size difference. And I was like, this is going to be great. He can't kick to the head. And I came out with my hands down, and man, first kick was a jump round kick. Caught me right in the head. I never expected it. And I ended up losing that match by 1 point. I didn't come back quick enough and ended up losing. And I'll tell you what, it was a horrible loss, and I was really upset about it, for weeks, being
Oh,
such
man.
a big event. But I'll tell you what, it probably taught me one of my best lessons in life, never to underestimate anybody that you're up against. So, and I was pretty young and probably a little bit cocky back then too.
Yep,
And it was a really good lesson, and I remember it to this day. And I share that with my students
yep.
because you just never know.
That was, that I have a very similar story. I'm sure we use them as teaching lessons, as, and I was in a tournament and this guy was just, I must have been like 6 or 7 inches taller than him, and I just felt, I was like, "Oh, okay, this will be an easy match. I'll move on to round 2," and, uh, the match was over, so if you score 5 points, and this was a taekwondo match, so,
Hmm.
point sparring for those of you guys that, aren't aware of point sparring rules, but you get 5 points, and, if you get a 5, back then it was the first to 5, I think.
It was, and that's how I lost
Okay,
this match actually.
okay.
'Cause it was in the old days, they used to do, like, an extra point if you got hit with a jump kick.
Yes.
So, that's what happened in my matches. I was down 3-0 in, like, 2 seconds.
Yep. Yeah, so nowadays, it's usually like a 5-point spread, so the match goes a little bit longer.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, my match was over in probably less than 30 seconds. I took 3 kicks to the head.
And
Uh,
done.
it was so fast. I never saw his foot until it was on my face. So and he did it 3 times in a row, which is even more impressive. So that's my story I tell the kids and adults, like, never underestimate, always be ready.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. It's those are good lessons learned, personal lessons. So I do try to share them with my students, and I know they're gonna learn their way too, but, um it seems
Yep.
like, I think probably I think another really memorable fight for me was actually one of the fights I watched you, and it wasn't live. I wasn't there live, and your fight was being streamed, and I couldn't get it to come up on the computer. And your sister actually got me hooked up with the link for it, and I was sitting at my, kitchen, island, and I've got the computer pulled up there on the laptop, and I got it to come up, and I was drinking a pina colada, and I remember this like it was yesterday. So your fight comes on, and the song that they were playing, was the pina colada song. And I was just dying laughing, and I remember texting your sister and saying, "I can't believe that he came out to that song. I'm sitting here drinking a pina colada." And then you kicked butt in that fight too, so it was a really memorable night. I remember watching that fight here live in Charlotte on my
I remember that
computer.
f Yeah, I remember that fight. They lost my music, my walkout song.
Oh, is that what
That wasn't
happened?
that wasn't supposed to be my walkout song. So it was just fate, um, that you got that song. So I
That's
didn't choose it.
crazy. I was
I
wondering
know.
because it was different than your normal song. Because
Yeah,
your
so
song was, "Can't We Be Friends?"
yeah, why can't we be friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, I everybody always comes out to serious music and like death metal or hardcore rap or something like that. And you know, n- not everybody, but a lot of people. And that didn't do it for me. I preferred to switch the mood up a little bit, and it helped me to relax and like stay light and stay loose, just kind of coming out um, to a funny song. It always got a few laughs.
It's funny, when I
Um,
was setting up the stream this morning, I was gonna use that as our open music, but I figured we'd get tagged for copyright infringement or something.
Well, I'm like conditioned to that song now. So that song comes up, and my heart rate starts getting up. I start getting ready to fight somebody. So I'd probably like get up and start shadow boxing or something if start hearing
That's
that
too
song.
funny. Oh, man.
Oh
All
man,
right,
too
well,
funny.
we are coming up on 200 subscribers, I seen. So I know we're gonna be doing a really cool giveaway. We're gonna do a 20K giveaway, 20K UpX giveaway. So hopefully, maybe this week, I think we're getting really close, probably about 185. So
Yeah,
make
we
sure
got
you guys like and subscribe.
yeah. Give us a subscribe and yeah. So I mean, I think we can get there pretty quick, and like we said, another way to earn. So we appreciate a subscription, and then once we hit it, we're gonna do that 20,000 UpX giveaway in Upland. So another reason to join Upland, another way to earn. Um, so as soon as we hit that number, we'll let you guys know, and we'll do a fun giveaway for that.
Nice. Let us know where you guys are coming in from. It looks like Riley's here. It's 11:29 over there.
That's
That's a late night.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Maybe that's Singapore where the fight started at 5 a.m.
Yeah, that probably probably. That's crazy.
Chuck Liddell. That's an oldie.
Chuck Liddell, that um, definitely one of my favorites to watch. The
Ch-
Iceman, right?
yeah, he was a party animal. He'd be fighting a
Yeah.
UFC fight and then right out to the bars, partying hard all night. He might have been partying until his next fight. That guy.
Yeah, very entertaining though
He was a
to
pretty
be a
big dude
fighter.
too.
Yeah, he just had a bomb of a right hand. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I know he was just tough. And oh, Australia, awesome.
Oh, okay.
Um, just yeah, he just had this bomb of a right hand. Just you just were waiting the whole fight for it to land, and he did. He landed it all the time.
Yeah, he did.
Um, fun to watch.
Man. He was up there in age too when he retired, wasn't he? Or he looked to be, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just those
It was
rough
all the
party
partying.
years. Oh man.
So how's
Um,
your Packers going to be looking this year?
I have no clue. I got I got no idea. I haven't followed. I usually tune in. I like following my Packers. I know we're. Um, yep, that's what it was, Riley.
Yeah.
Dip that head, come over the top with that right. Um, yep. But no, I usually tune in, watch the Packers. I don't get like heavily into it, but I enjoy chilling out, hanging out with friends, watching the games. I have done zero research. I just know that we lost. Uh, oh goodness, Aaron Rodgers, and
Yeah.
I think we got Jordan Love stepping in, which he was always pretty solid. So see what he can do. See if he can step up to the plate and get it done. So we'll
Yeah, it's
see.
hard to tell during preseason how good anybody's going to be. I was watching the scores flash through when one of the games was on when I was cooking the other night. And the Denver game, I think it was Denver and the Chargers, maybe. The score of the preseason game, I think it was like 41 nothing. I don't know if I've ever seen a preseason score like that. Did they
41
just not play
nothing.
anybody or what?
uh, they were just
They don't want to show
shoot.
any of their cards.
Yeah, maybe that was the sandbagging
Yeah.
strategy. Just not really lower the expectations before the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Riley, you like the Green Bay Packers as well, or um, yeah. Well, I think that's all the fight news. I think Connor I think I read that Connor is going to be set to be fighting in December.
Okay, I saw something on that. Now, is there going to be O'Malley and McGregor on the same card? Is what I had
That's
seen.
that's what they're trying to do. I don't think that's 100% yet, but I think from what I read, of course it's Connor. Things could change, but
Yeah,
from what I read, I think Connor is planning on fighting in December.
I thought he was
And
banned from UFC fights.
no, he's not banned.
I thought he
He
was
just
done.
he just refused to take a drug test for the last 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they wouldn't let him fight until he takes a drug test. Or
I thought he was banned and stuff from all the crap that happened with Habib or Khabib,
um, yeah,
the bus
nah,
incident. That was crazy.
yeah, he's been through his court case. He brings in too much. He brings in too much money for them to say no. Um, yeah, they're definitely gonna bring him in. So we have a Connor fan
Yeah.
in the comments.
Was there any speculation on when that fight would be or when that card was going to be?
Yeah, there's a date for it.
Oh, there
The
was.
UFC is
Wow.
the UFC's already set.
Who's he
Um,
going to fight?
Michael Chandler.
Oh, Chandler. Okay. Yeah, I did not see that.
Yeah, let's see if there's a date on it. Um, it was November 11th. John Jones fights Stipe.
Hmm.
That'll be interesting. I do not have a date on that yet. It'll be out in a week or two.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some stuff pop up over the weekend on that. And there was a picture with O'Malley and I think it was O'Malley and McGregor
Yeah.
in the same news clip I was looking at.
Yep. I'll uh not a huge Connor fan there, Riley, but I will tune in to watch. So
Yep.
that's what they want. And they'll get it.
Oh yeah.
They will get it. They're good at getting it.
Well, I think
Um,
so we got the 200 subscriber giveaway coming up, and then we've got oh, we're going to be starting. We'll have more details on this later in the week, probably Wednesday or Thursday on our streams. But we are going to be starting the rumbles. We're going to have a big rumble thing coming up. It's going to be 50 rumbles. So it's going to be a really cool tournament. So we're looking forward to that. The last one was amazing. We had a lot of really great giveaways. And I know the rumble numbers have been moving up just a little bit every week. So it's starting to
mhm,
grow. And
absolutely.
thanks to King Jensen, we had our first samurai battle last week. So that was really exciting too. So I'm still learning my way around the rumbles.
Yeah, and then our URL race, I don't think it's this Friday, if I'm correct. It's the following Friday.
I think it
Um,
is the following Friday.
yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated on that as well. Um, well, I think that's it for the fight news today and martial arts news, NFL news, giveaway news. I think that's everything that we've
I
got for
think
today.
that's it.
Unless,
So
okay,
we'll be back Wednesday morning. Don't forget we'll have some Upland tips that come out tomorrow about 3 a.m. So check those out. And then for Wednesday, get your cars fired up and ready. We're going to try to do some live racing maybe on Wednesday morning
nice.
for kicking it with the ninjas in the morning. So definitely get your cars fired up and ready, and we could test out some of the controls and stuff. Are you starting to get used to the controls?
I mean, I didn't get to practice over the weekend, so I'll probably use Wednesday. We'll do that track some more, get some more practice in, see if I can't get my times down. So,
Awesome.
uh, it's getting better, better and better.
I haven't got to practice
So,
much, so I need to
yeah,
get on it. I think the
yeah.
last
Well,
time we raced live on stream, we had a newer community member that was going to race, and they had an S4. So I raced an S4, and I think you were racing an S1E. So I don't even remember seeing my car anywhere. I was like 2 laps behind.
oh man.
So we'll come prepared for Wednesday, and we'll get some racing in, and there could be some prizes. So definitely show up for that. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
All
thanks
right.
for hanging out.
Yeah, we're going
We
to get a day of kicking started here in Charlotte and have some fun, and hopefully the weather will clear up a little bit today. Got an action-packed day. So, but we'll be back at it on Wednesday morning. So,
all right, guys. That's a wrap. Yeah, I know Upland does. some of that stuff is weird.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely
Definitely.
don't definitely not doing it for that. I just like the athletes, like watching the sport. I kind of
Uh,
wish sports was just sports.
yeah. I like it more for the camaraderie with the people we do the pick'ems with and the,
Hanging out
fantasy football with some of the
hanging
guys
out
from Upland.
hanging out
So,
with friends and stuff. Yeah.
that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely understand though, Upland. This is kind of weird stuff.
yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, make sure to like and subscribe, and we appreciate everybody joining us this morning. And we'll look forward to kicking it with you guys Wednesday. We'll get a little racing in, and we will have more information on the Rumbles and that tournament that's coming up. And who knows, maybe we'll hit the 200 subscribes by Wednesday, and we can do some kind of giveaway. So we'll look forward to that.
All right, guys, that's a wrap, and we'll see you Wednesday.
All right. Thanks for kicking it with the ninjas.